In this video, we will learn about the monopolistic competition, which is one of the market structures in the spectrum of market structures. So, as the name goes, it is a kind of amalgam of the two situations where there is a tendency towards monopoly and still we are in competition. So, therefore, we call it monopolistic competition. What exactly it does? Let us see. In such a market structure, we have the combination of both of these market structures, that is, perfect competition and monopoly, to certain degrees. And the characteristics that we have in such market structure are that there are a large number of producers and they are producing a small portion of the industry's output. Because they are quite large in number, so the overall market share gets divided into many parts. Therefore, the individual share is small for each of the firm, and therefore they cannot influence the overall market situation. That is, they cannot influence the market price. Neither they have the tendency to affect the overall output of the product. Now, the large number of consumers, they are also there because they produce such goods that are consumed by most of the people. We'll see a few examples of it as well. But right now, we know that a large number of consumers are also there in this market structure, and they are also buying a small portion of the market output because there are a large number of people who are buying such goods. So definitely, as compared to the overall output of those goods, they are buying a very small portion of it. The salient feature of this kind of market structure is that the goods produced, they are heterogeneous and they are differentiated products because there are they are close substitutes, but they are not identical products. Just like we had in the perfect competition, where the goods were homogeneous and there was hardly any difference between or among those units that are produced. So they are close substitutes. People can shift from one to another with ease, but because still there is a difference between the goods, that is, they are not identical. They are differentiated. This is why they are not identical, by changing the packaging or a little bit of fragrance or any other feature of those goods. And this differentiation basically happens because they deploy the resources and they also resort to advertisements. These are a couple of tools that they use to distinguish or differentiate their products, and their tendency is actually to get higher share of the market. This is why we say that they are in competition, but they are still in monopolistic. They are in competition and they are also trying to go towards the monopolistic situation. Now we have a few examples: soft drinks and pizzas, fast food. These things are basically are available in a large number of sellers, and many people consume them. And we can observe that the difference between the units produced by different producers is not that substantial. The soft drinks, the pizzas, the fast food, basically they are quite similar goods, but the packaging or a little bit of flavor or fragrance, it can vary a little bit. So this is a set of examples that fall under the category of monopolistic competition. Another feature of this market structure is that the firms can easily enter or exit into this industry because the goods that are produced do not require much of scientific research or a high level of capital investment. So it becomes easy to enter or exit the market depending upon the situation. Another feature of this market structure is that there is perfect information because the goods that we are observing here are not high-tech goods or scientifically advanced goods. They are the things that are very common, and even some people can make them at home, especially these pizzas and other type of fast food. So people know about the contents and perhaps the recipe of these goods. So this is why the level of information is not that much different. It is quite perfect between and among the economic agents, that is the buyers and the sellers. And then we have the nature of the demand curve. This is the diagrammatical difference that in this case we have a kind of market structure which is between the monopoly and perfect competition. So between them, the demand curve would be somewhere in the middle, because in case of the perfect competition, we know that there was a straight line, horizontal line of the demand curve, and in case of monopoly, the demand curve was having a higher slope. But here it is in between the two extremes, that is the horizontal demand curve and the high sloped demand curve. It is in between the two, neither here nor there, it is somewhere in the middle. So this is the feature of the firm's equilibrium under the monopolistic competition, that its slope, that is the demand curve slope, is somewhere in the middle. That is, it is neither a curve with no slope, that is a horizontal demand curve, nor a demand curve which is having a high slope. It is a demand curve with a medium level of slope. The equilibrium, however, takes place with the same science, and that is the equality of marginal cost and marginal revenue, and it happens here. So at this point we get the equilibrium price. This gives us the level of cost for each good, that is the per unit cost, and definitely out of it becomes the profit. So in this way we can easily assess the profit of a firm which is monopolistic competitive in nature. This was a brief introduction of it, and in the next video we'll learn about the other type of market structure, and that is oligopoly. Thank you.